guys, Jennifer with J Page Designs. Today I am going to be showing you a multiple tree ring pour that I'm creating for a client that wants to hang this in a wedding venue. So wanting really soft, flowy kind of look, light colors. Just showing you the paint here. First one is Liquitex Rose, I believe is the color. Second one is Liquitex Iridescent White. And then the third color is just Deco Art Extreme Sheen 24 Karat Gold. I'm showing you here where I cut the bottom off of the bottle with an X-Acto knife just to get all of that out of there. Just a little tip that I use. I'm getting ready to start layering the cups here. I'm probably going to cut this section for you in just a second so you don't have to labor through watching me layer all of these. I did 3 cups, so I basically did them all the same order. So I did, I think, pink, white, gold, over and over again. I think I did maybe 3 or 4 different layers. So yeah, that's how I did that. Okay, so I have finished mixing the paints here, moving them to the side, and I'm getting ready to lay down my base layer of paint. This is just actually it's house paint. It's alabaster white mixed with Floetrol that I had left over from another project. I don't think after going through this, I realized I did not have enough on here. So you'll see me later make up some more and lay it down. But here I am just trying to get as much as I can out of it. And I'm going to spread it out. I find it just easier to use my hands most of the time. I've used other tools and things, but I think I'm really impatient. So it's just easier for me to use my hands and then get a new pair of gloves, which is what I do here. Trying to cover all the edges in case my tree rings don't make it all the way over. I don't have to worry about them. So if I'm you, I'm fast forwarding through this right now. Throwing away my gloves. All right, got out my torch. There's quite a bit of bubbles in there. So just kind of trying to get rid of those before I put down the colors. So I know I cut out the portion where I was mixing up the cups. So I did 3 cups, about 16 ounces each. And May could have used a little bit more paint, but I knew I was going to really stretch this one out because I wanted something really light and flowy looking, and so I used a little less paint than maybe I normally would. All right, here's me picking out some of that stuff I told you. I don't know what it was. It almost looked like little black flecks of something. If any of you have any ideas, I don't know if it was in the Floetrol or what. But I did more picking out of this project than any I've ever done before. All right, here we go, the first cup. Just decided to start in the middle to see kind of how it flowed out and figure out where to put the other 2 down from there. I did a little bit of a combination of a straight pour versus, straight pour and tree ring. I do some of both. You'll see me here tilt the cup kind of from, like, rotate it a little bit I've seen other artists do this, and I think I've discovered that what they're doing is trying not to get all of the same color on one side of the ring. If you rotate it, you get a little more diversity in it. So I tried to do that. It takes a little practice because your hands got to be really still, and I never thought of myself as somebody that didn't have still hands, but you start doing stuff like this and you're like, geez, I cannot hold my hands still. So I did do that. The colors ended up getting, I guess, more muted than I had anticipated them, but I ended up really liking it anyway. If the client had wanted really defined lines, I probably would have had to scrape it and do it over. But for this project, I think it was really what they wanted. I don't know, maybe the paint was thinner. That's probably what it is. Paint was thinner than it needed to be. But I'm still learning like the rest of you. So I was fortunate in that it didn't matter in this piece. So here's my first ring. I'm going to put down 2 more. Basically the same process. Here's me trying to decide where in the world to put the second one. I've seen artists like Sarah Mack and I think Julie Cutts that do these great tree ring pours, and they all just seem very symmetrical, and they, I don't know, they look so good, and mine never turn out that way. I'm happy with mine, but mine are always kind of like catty-cornered, and one's much bigger than the other, and so I'll practice some more and try to see if I can manage to do one like theirs, but you'll see here as I start tilting how I think it's the center one that ends up being a lot bigger, and like I said, it's fine. I ended up happy with it in the end. It just wasn't exactly what I was envisioning, but it seems like things never turn out exactly the way I envision anyway. All right, so you see here I finally finished putting down the third ring, and I am getting ready to start tilting after I pop the bubbles. I didn't have too many, but didn't really want any cells in this if I could help it, so I went ahead and popped them before tilting. All right, so what you're going to see here is I start to tilt, and it's moving slowly, but it's starting to roll over itself. So I'm losing the paint on the outer edges, and that is not really what I wanted. So in a second here, I decide to stop, and I'm going to go back and make up some more white for a flood color to put down outside the rings to help them move. That's a trick that I learned from somebody, which is if your paint is rolling on top of itself, then you need a flood coat. And ideally your flood coat should be a little bit thinner than your colors to help maintain the colors not rolling over themselves and getting it to move. So that's what I'm doing here. This is not the alabaster white. I ran out of that after I poured it on the canvas. So this is some of the iridescent white that I used actually in the rings. you're going to see here in a minute, I disappear off camera, and that is because I am adding water to it to make it thinner than my paints. I didn't have any water sitting on my table, so I actually went outside, got a little spigot right outside my door and just turned it on and got some out of the hose. So just a little bit, not much, maybe like a tablespoon. I think I go one more time and add a little bit more. Not much at all. You don't want to break up the binders in your paint. So I finished that up, and then I lay it down, and you'll see that it moves much better at this point than it was doing before. Just didn't have enough on there. And I kind of knew that when I laid it down. I was just hoping for more, just trying to conserve paint if I can. I know the flood coat is important, but sometimes it hurts my heart to use it just to move paint. You know, it feels like a waste of money, but I guess it's not if it helps you get your desired outcome. So here I am just laying it down. Again, I'm going to go back and spread it out so that it comes all the way up to the edges of the circles and over to the edge of the canvas. You see me here picking out some more stuff. I don't know where those are coming from. More grit or whatever I got in this painting. So here I am just spreading it out. I have a tendency to be really impatient, so if I were you again, I would fast forward here till I'm done. Okay, so I'm just about done putting that flood coat down and getting ready to start tilting. Here, I'm just trying to loosen up the paint, going back and forth a little bit, getting it moving. I don't really have a plan for which way I'm going to go. I knew right off the bat that I wasn't going to get those 3 symmetrical rings because of the way that the rings kind of ate into each other here, as you can see. So just trying to get it loosened up and moving, and then just start pouring over the edges. I don't use a lot of pink, and so it just was interesting for me using these colors, but I did end up liking it, and I think it'll be a good fit, like I said, for a bride's dressing room in a wedding venue. more junk I'm getting out of it. So here's where I was really thankful that I was recording, because I could watch it flowing in the camera across the table, and I knew when it had made it over the edges. So one thing I did after it was completely done that I forgot to turn the camera back on for was, you'll see here after I finished tilting it over this last corner, that there's really only one kind of ribbon of white in it, and I just felt like the composition was off a little bit, so I went back and I added some more white. It was really simple. I just used little popsicle stick or tongue depressor, whatever you want to call them, that I stir my paints with, just dipped it in the paint and just kind of ran it along where I wanted it. That's why when you look at the final picture at the end, it is going to look a little bit different. You'll see where I added that white. But that was a simple process. I just felt like it needed something a little bit more. Just cleaning up the edges here, scraping off the drips that are coming off the bottom. Making sure I've got it all covered well. Here I am, there's a few tiny little clumps that I was just trying to eat. All right, now I'm just kind of inspecting it, looking for things that are wrong or more junk that's in the paint that I need to get out, just making sure that I'm done and see if I need to do anything else. I think I'm taking the camera down here and about to give you a close-up. All right, here it is. This is a final piece. You can see the white that I added, just a couple of lines. I felt like it needed a little bit more. Hoping that it dries well. Once it's dry, I will post this with a final picture. Thanks for joining me. I would love for you to comment, like, subscribe. Hope you guys have a great day. Take care.